Welcome everybody. It's exciting, to start another year here and another year in the growth of our program. So we're excited about the group we have. The weather's cooperated with us this preseason for the most part, especially this week heading into our first game. But excited what we have in our clubhouse. Excited about our returners. Love our new guys. Love the schedule that we put together that's waiting for us. And I think we got a really good group of guys, who are all about Kansas State baseball, and that's tough to say these days when your locker room changes by 50% every year. It speaks volumes to our culture and our coaches and the people we have in our program over the last 8 years that we're able to establish some continuity, people culture-wise, and bring in some really high-level players and keep hunting to get to our program to a different level, and we're excited to take that next step to be a sustainable national player in this game and ultimately to get to our next step, which we're close to and we're determined to make happen, is to play in Omaha at the end of the year and get hot and play for a national championship for this great school and great community. So, thank you.
Yeah, Pete, we were in your office in October, and you said you can't sit back when you're trying to get to Omaha. You feel like this team possesses a talent and that DNA necessary to be able to make a push toward Omaha this season?
Look, we play in a great conference, and we're extremely competitive in our conference, and we've proven that we can beat anybody in the country in a single game. We've proven that we can beat anybody in the country in a 2 out of 3 series, and I tell our guys every week that they are an Omaha team, and don't get in the way of yourself. Do the little things, stay present, love everything about being a Kansas State baseball player, and you can pick your head up and you'll be in a good spot, but do not get in your way, because you are talented enough and we're deep enough and we're hungry enough to be an Omaha team. You just have to get healthy and you have to get hot at the right times. But for us, we have to be consistent, and for our program specifically, we have to play great on the road. We've proven we can play great in our friendly confines here, and we have to do the same on the road, and that speaks volumes of your team when you can go on the road and play at a high level. And usually the teams that can do that are the teams that end up in Omaha.
So I was looking back. It took until you had a 19-8 record and led the Big 12 with the 8-1 record last April before you were ranked for the first time last season. At the time you said, "I think people are having a hard time to say that Kansas State might be a national baseball program." Fast forward to today, how do you feel like Kansas State baseball is perceived from outsiders?
It's the same. Yeah, it's the same. Do we have a chip on our shoulder? Absolutely. Either we're going to prove them right or prove them wrong. But that's who we are. We're Kansas State baseball. We're a bubble team before the season starts, and somehow they're going to put us on that bubble no matter what our body of work is. And that's just who we are right now. And it doesn't slow us down. It motivates us. And until you start stacking years and years and years of knocking on the door at Omaha or going to Omaha, then you'll get that respect of a program that has great tradition. And we're fighting a lot of those things right now, and we do every year. But we can only control what we can control, and that's being really good on Friday against Iowa, playing great on the road, continue to establish a home field presence, but to be consistent from February to the beginning of June, and then we won't be considered that 7th place team that has no prospects. Believe me, we have no problem with that right now because we know who we are. But it motivates us. It doesn't dominate our days, that's for sure. We just do our thing, and we'll end up in a regional somewhere. Hopefully, we're hosting here. That's our goal, to host a regional here at the Toint and get hot in June and beat somebody in a 2 out of 3 in a super regional. Go to Omaha. So we don't pay much attention to the experts that cover our sport because that they're still just not ready to say Kansas State's a national baseball program, but we're content with that.
Weekend pitching. Do you know what the rotation looks like yet? And Carson Liggett, how's he doing? How's he looking?
To answer your first question, we have a super competitive pitching staff right now, and we've got a lot of returning guys, some veteran guys that have been in the heat of the battle. Hasn't really sorted itself out. It will. I mean, it could vary from weekend to weekend with matchups and who we're playing and facilities we're playing in, and left-handed, right-handed. But we do have the luxury of 7 or 8 guys that are pretty talented and battle-tested that are stretched out that could make up our rotation at some point. But what everyone in our program realizes, we have to win every single game in college baseball. You have to win every single game if you're a Kansas State baseball team. And those games that we play on Tuesdays and Wednesdays are critical when people are going to look at our resume. Right out of the gates, at Louisiana Lafayette, those are 2 huge games. So I don't know someone very important in our pitching staff is going to be throwing those games, and it's going to be on a Tuesday and Wednesday. But are we going to have a clear-cut Friday, Saturday, Sunday rotation like we did last year? If I had to give you an answer today, Mitch, I would say no. It's going to vary, and that speaks volumes to the depth of our pitching staff. Carson Liggett is as advanced in his rehab post-Tommy John as any other pitcher I've ever coached. At 7 months, he was full go, and that's a credit to our athletic training staff and Blaine Burris. It's amazing. I've never seen a kid at 7 months with a stronger arm and with touch and feel for 4 pitches, and that's where Carson was at 7 months. He's at 9 right now, and we're going to be careful with him. After that surgery, even though he's done great things in his rehab and has progressed in his recovery, where we'll still err on the safe side with Carson, but he'll certainly pitch weekend 1 for us at some point.
With the bats, during your tenure, you guys have rewritten the record book when it comes to power hitting. I'll ask you the same question I asked last year. Do you think this team could be another one of those teams that can hit for power and be one of the best in program history again in areas like home runs?
I think so. The key is to get better every year, and we're a lot deeper than we were offensively last year. I'm used to playing 9 or 10 guys, and that number's jumped to 12 or 13 guys in the mix, which gives you really good matchups. But I do think that power component's going to be there again. I want to be a little more efficient offensively on the bases with our run game. It's an area where we're adamant in becoming more proficient at. But to answer your question, I do think that we'll see a lot of pitches. We'll control the strike zone. We'll get on base. We'll put pressure on people, and then that power component is right there. That's for sure.
Coach, you mentioned this a little bit in your opening statement, but in this era of college athletics, when you retain 17 letter winners, how important is that for building continuity, and then how does that help you accomplish your goals?
Yeah, that's a lot of kids coming back, but it does. It says a lot about our culture, and it's tough to have culture be that guiding force in your clubhouse these days, because there's really no emotional investment in the schools anymore if someone's around your program for 9 months and then they leave. And not too long ago, we would sign a kid out of high school after his sophomore, junior year, maintain a relationship with that family for 2 more years, and have him in your program for 5, and then you have a real relationship, and people don't walk away from real relationships, so it's not the case these days. But the guys that we have that have been in our program for a couple years, and Jimmy and Cayenne, these guys are veteran guys, and they know what our culture is, and they speak our culture, and they live it, more importantly. So all these new guys from other programs, and when they come in, they see that's the way it's done, and we've been fortunate to have great leadership left over in our clubhouse with all the transition that happens, and it begins and ends with your core leaders in your clubhouse, like these two guys.
Yeah, just Kyan, can you speak on that? Just the chip on the shoulder and everything that this program lives with.
Yeah, I mean, coming in here my freshman year, Kansas State was never a baseball school, and like Coach you said, we've flipped this program around entirely, not with just the coaches, but the people that he's brought in. And I think that it's just a daily thing that we talk about, having a chip on our shoulder, whether it's in practice, whether it's off the field, we all share the same beliefs. And I think that having a chip on our shoulder will just push us farther and farther this year. Just talent-wise, we have it. We have the depth, like Coach said. And without those things, having a chip on our shoulder would be nothing to us. So I think it's going to help us succeed and get to higher places.
Can you touch on, you've been here since your freshman year, just the growth you've seen in the program to where turning into a baseball a school that can talk about potentially going to Omaha at the end of the season?
A lot has changed since I've been here my freshman year. There's been a lot of ups, a lot of downs, but I believe that this school has jumped a crazy amount from a baseball perspective, not only with the leadership. I mean, I think I've said this before in another press conference, but from every staff member to the first Coach Hughes, the coach, to the last player on the bench, everyone's treated the same, everyone's evaluated the same, and everyone works just as hard as anyone else. So I think that's something that I've taken away from this university and this team, the work ethic, the leadership, and all of the players just get along well. It's unlike any other university. From conversations I've had with people that are from back home or transfers that come in, they come here and they're like, wow, like something is just different about this university. And I think that's something I've seen over my 5 years here, is people coming into this program and being like, wow, this is just different. Everything about it is just different. And I'm proud to be a Wildcat, and I always will be. And I think that's the biggest thing that I've noticed in my 5 years.
James, from a developmental standpoint, tell us about your experience this summer with USA Baseball and kind of maybe some things that you learned that you can bring with you this season.
Yeah, definitely. My experience over the summer with USA was definitely cool, but I was one of the guys that Coach Hughes mentioned that I was lucky enough to build that relationship starting in high school and experience the culture and really use that to help me develop and really see how everyone around us just pushes each other to be the best that they can. So just enveloping myself in the program and the culture, using our resources like our pitching coach or all the other coaches who just more know about the game than I do. So I think definitely using that experience over the summer, just playing with the best and gaining confidence just to know that we're good enough to play against the best in the game. So.
For Dante, very unique opportunity last year as a freshman to be a two-way player. You got a lot of great opportunities. What did you learn from year one, and what do you hope improves in your sophomore season to make you a better player?
Yeah, year one was a lot. I think it was my first time two-waying on the college level, so it was definitely an acquired taste. But I think I just learned to really hone in on focusing on things that are important as far as just skills that'll help me on both sides. It's going to be a heavy load this year, but I'm excited, and with the help of Coach Hughes, and the rest of the coaching staff and our trainers, just really making sure I'm taking care of my body and getting everything that I need to be able to have a great year.
Bear, for you, either at your position or at the plate, where do you hopes to make a big jump in your senior season, and specifically with the hitting? Who is a sleeper on this team? Who do you think is going to be either somebody coming back that's going to take a big leap forward, or maybe a surprise that we're going to see that's new this year?
Yeah, I suspect Dante and I think D. Those guys are going to be really key opponents in our lineup. They're really good on the bases. They're really quick, especially when I'm behind the plate. It's hard to throw him out. So, but I think catching, really, I hope I make a big jump this year. I want to throw out more guys. I want to be more defensively back there. I just want to help my pitchers be successful, yeah.
Coach, you mentioned earlier on the base paths, you want to be improving, you want to be taking a big step forward there. Is that specifically just? Are you looking at more base stealing? Or are you looking at more discipline just on where the ball's going and if you're advancing second and third, things like that?
I just want to be more efficient in stealing bases. I mean, that's our offense. It's been our offense, a mainstay of our offense for 3 years. We've committed to that. And, it's not rocket science, but there's a lot of little things involved in running our offense the right way. And it's fine doing it out here against each other, but we got to do it live in high pressure situations and have to do it efficiently. And I don't think we did that last year. It was not a part of our team that I loved. But I think we can get to a different level this year where we were 2 years ago, where it's a mainstay and we're doing it at a high percentage of effectiveness. Like, I think we stole 85% 2 years ago, and that's a percentage and success rate that we're looking to achieve again.
Question for Bear: What stands out to you about this pitching staff compared to maybe some of the ones you've worked with before?
This one's especially, like, we're really deep. We have guys that are really healthy, that's getting back healthy, especially like Liggett, Jimmy, and a bunch of those guys that are more that's been in this game for a while. I think that they're going to be really key opponents to this year. I think that we're really deep in the lineup, but we can go for as many innings and for a lot of games. So I think we're pretty deep this year.
Pete, of the newcomers on this roster, who are you maybe most excited about getting the fans to see for the first time?
All the guys that are sitting here watching this press conference, this case. So there's so many of them, honestly. We just it's refreshing to have new guys come in here, because a lot of them are looking for a new road in their career, and you can tell they're happy with their decision by the way they come to work every day. So I couldn't really single out one or two guys. There's so many of them, but as a whole, the group has conformed to our culture. They're all in, and they're talented kids. Their work ethic are through the roof. They all come here because they're motivated to get to a different level in college baseball and motivated to get to a different level in their careers, and they've gone about their business that way.
Pete, I'm doing a story about alums from Millard West High School today. I was wondering if you could walk me through the first time you saw Kyan and just what your first impressions of him.
Well, Kyan, I think we first evaluated you in 1985, was it? This is Kyan's. He's the elder statesman of this team, and his fingerprints are all over the growth of this program, because, like he said, he was there at the beginning when you're trying to transform a losing culture into a winning one, and a lot goes behind the scenes in that happening. With that happening, it happens in the clubhouse. It happens away from this building. You have to have strong character people maintaining your strong message of how to do things the right way as a Kansas State baseball player. Even though you haven't achieved the success on the field yet, but you still have that message. It doesn't work if you don't have guys like this that re-emphasize your message every day to their peer group. It just doesn't work. And the first thing that made Kyan attractive to us as a recruit when you're rebuilding a program is the family he's from, and how he goes about his business, and the character's through the roof, and he's super competitive and comfortable in his own skin to tell his teammates something that might not be popular. And that's what Kyan has brought to this program since day one, and just so lucky to have him for a fifth year, because he's absolutely a coach on the field for us.
And as a coach on the field, speaking on the field, what kind of impact do you anticipate for Kyan this year?
He knows our offense as well as anybody. He knows our program as well as anybody. And in game, I mean, what an asset he is to our younger guys, or the new guys to our program that aren't familiar with our offense or how we run stuff in game, it is. I see him. He's talking to all these guys. He's preparing to go to Omaha, but he's coaching like crazy out there every day. So that, like I said, that's invaluable. What he brings to our program every single day. And you know what? He's a good player too. He was off and running last year, and he had a thumb injury which sidetracked him. And we look for him to be a super productive guy who can get on base. He can hit home runs. He can steal bases, and he does it with a chip on his shoulder. And he's a competitive spirit, and he's the absolute quintessential Kansas State baseball player. So we're lucky to have him.
A couple of schedule questions. So last year's non-con was huge for this team, right? This year, I mean, right out of the gates was 7 straight really big games. I want to get your thoughts on starting with that kind of schedule, and then also I think it's during Big 12 play, you have like a Tuesday at Baylor and a Tuesday at BYU, and just scheduling those games. I guess where'd that come from? And those are non-conference games, right?
Those are non-conference games. So we miss BYU, Baylor, and Texas Tech in conference. As you know, I'm constantly trying to build our RPI, and you do that through non-conference opportunities. Where we are in this part of the country, it's well documented. We don't have great RPI opportunities in Kansas for non-conference. So you have to be a little creative with your scheduling. In the past, we've gotten on a plane and played at Tennessee and Clemson midweek, or UConn and Northeastern midweek to ramp up our RPI to improve our resume. So we can get on the bubble or get off the bubble, however you approach it. But at the end of the day, RPI is still a metric that is way too important in the process. But until that changes, I'll continue to schedule the way we're doing. And the way we do that is we jack up our non-conference RPI. And we play a tough schedule, right? So you stay in Texas, when you play Houston and you play a Big 12 team midweek, Baylor, or you stay out there in Utah after the Utah series and you play a Big 12 team in BYU on the road. Those are all great RPI opportunities that we might not get if we came back and played a home game. So it's always a difficult situation for me scheduling-wise because you want more home games, because you want to promote your sport. You want to promote it to the community. You want to play in front of a great community. We're outstanding at home, so everything tells me we need to play more home games. We can produce more revenue, but at the end of the day, we're hired to get in the national tournament so we can get hot and go to Omaha. And getting away from home a little bit because the RPI is the most efficient way for us to put ourselves in position to play in the national tournament and at the end of the year. So that's what's motivated that scheduling.
For Dante and Bear, now that you guys have had a year under your belt as a freshman and a transfer, what advice do you guys have for this next group of guys going into their first season with K-State?
I guess advice would be, trust the coaching staff. I would say they want, what's best for you overall. They care about you as a person. And of course as a player too, so really just trusting their plan for you, and not caring so much that you don't care in a way, just really going out there and playing loose and having fun. This game is, whenever it stops being fun, it's a problem. So I would say just really not being too serious all the time, enjoying your teammates, laughing, having a good time, and but when it's time to focus up, get that done, and just, play free.
Yeah, I would definitely say buy into the culture that these guys have built. Whenever I first got here, I knew this was a great place. You're probably thinking, what a boy from Georgia come to Kansas, but it's these coaches. I've really liked them everywhere I've been. I've been to 2 different schools. I've had 3 different head coaches, and this is by far the best place I've ever been to. And if you just buy in, listen to these coaches, they're gonna be right there behind you, have your back. I love these guys, so let's say buy into the culture.
Kyan and James, You guys are both on both regional teams. What can you guys say, similarity-wise, that you guys see from the past regional teams to the team that will be starting next week?
Yeah, I definitely think looking back on the last 2 years, we've gone to regionals, and I mean, looking back on the team we have this year, I know what it takes to get to the postseason of baseball and the regionals and even the super regionals. So this team has what it takes. We got the talent, we got the depth, and a very talented hitting staff or hitting lineup. So I mean, we got what it takes, but it's just a matter of doing it when it matters. So I think we got it.
I think something different this year than any other year has been the amount of experience and like older players we have on this team. I know it's different with the transfer portal now, but I think that's going to play an even bigger role this year with the amount of experience we have coming in from other schools and just the older guys that have played a lot of baseball. I think that's going to kind of hone in on even more June baseball for us. But the past couple of years going to a regional and then 2 years ago the super regional, I think this team is well capable with it, plus Omaha with the more experience and years of baseball that this team has.